A software engineer named Marcus turned down $22,000 in annual salary during his job offer negotiation. He asked the company to take it back. And 3 years later, he retired at 31. That is not a typo. He voluntarily gave up $22,000 per year in cash compensation. And he did it on purpose. Because he had been taught something that almost nobody in a salary negotiation class will ever tell you. Here is what they never tell you. Cash salary is the worst form of compensation a growing company can offer you. It is taxed immediately. It does not compound. And it ties your financial ceiling directly to how many hours you can physically work. But equity? Equity is a completely different animal. And the people who understand this are playing an entirely different game than you are. Marcus worked at a Series B startup in Austin. The company offered him $140,000 base salary and 0.3% equity vesting over 4 years. He countered with $118,000 base and 1.1% equity. The recruiter thought he made a math error. He did not. He knew exactly what he was doing. Here's why that swap was worth it. When the company sold 2 years later for $280 million, his equity stake was worth just over $3 million. His total cash salary sacrifice over 2 years was $44,000. He turned a $44,000 reduction into $3 million. That is not luck. That is literacy. Most financial advice stops at negotiate your salary higher. Push for more PTO. Get a signing bonus. That advice is not wrong. But it is incomplete. It is advice built for employees who plan to stay employees. Not for people who plan to use employment as a launchpad. Self-made millionaires who came from nothing understand one thing deeply. They cannot out-earn their tax bracket with a salary. Every dollar above a certain threshold gets cut nearly in half before it reaches your bank account. But equity gains, specifically long-term capital gains, get taxed at a dramatically lower rate. Sometimes as low as 0% if you structure it correctly. The IRS literally charges you less for getting rich through ownership than through labor. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is published tax code. And it has been sitting there your whole life. If this surprised you, subscribe right now. Because we cover the mechanics of wealth that financial media skips over because it does not sell ads to people who work at Fidelity. Now here is the deeper layer. The salary negotiation swap is not just about math. It is about signaling. When Marcus walked into that negotiation and asked for less cash in exchange for more equity, the founders looked at him differently. He stopped being a vendor selling his time. He became a stakeholder, someone with skin in the game. They gave him a seat at a strategy meeting 2 months in. They copied him on acquisition conversations. His access to information, to relationships, to the next opportunity, multiplied because of that one signal. This is what separates people who accumulate wealth from people who earn good money and still feel behind. Wealthy people buy access and ownership. Everyone else sells time and hopes for raises. There is a second version of this strategy that works even if you are not at a startup. It is called a deferred compensation swap. At established companies, you can sometimes negotiate to defer a portion of your salary into a supplemental executive retirement plan, a 457 plan, or a phantom equity agreement. You are essentially trading current taxable income for future tax-advantaged wealth. The same logic, different container. A 34-year-old marketing director named Priya at a mid-sized tech firm in Chicago did exactly this. She deferred $18,000 annually into a company-sponsored deferred comp plan while also negotiating for a profit-sharing clause tied to the division she ran. Over 6 years, her deferred account grew to over $160,000 pre-tax while also collecting profit distributions when her division hit targets. She never got a massive salary spike. She restructured the deal so that her compensation grew whether she showed up or not. That is the shift. From earning to owning. From trading time to building positions. So what can you actually do with this right now? First, before your next salary negotiation, ask this single question. Does this company offer equity, profit sharing, phantom stock, or deferred compensation in addition to base salary? If they say yes, ask for the plan documents. Read them. If they say no, ask if it is negotiable. You will be surprised how often the answer is also yes, especially at smaller or private companies where there is flexibility that never gets advertised. Second, if you are currently employed, request a compensation restructuring conversation. This is not the same as asking for a raise. You are asking to redesign the deal. You bring value to the table. You are asking the company to let you participate in the upside of that value rather than just receive a fixed payment for it. Third, understand your tax bracket. Know the difference between ordinary income tax rates and long-term capital gains rates for your income level. That difference is the entire engine behind this strategy. Ignorance of that gap is costing people hundreds of thousands of dollars over a career. Marcus did not have a trust fund. He grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment in Memphis with a mother who worked doubles at a hospital. He learned this strategy from a mentor at age 26. One conversation changed his entire financial trajectory. The system is not rigged in the way most people think. It is not rigged to keep you poor. It is rigged to reward people who understand ownership over income. And the rulebook is public. It has always been public. Nobody just hands it to you. Do not close this video yet. The next video on this channel covers how people use their employer's benefits package to legally shelter over $40,000 per year from taxes. Things your HR department can offer but almost never mentions. That is the one you do not want to miss.